Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Naomi Osaka defeats Coco Gauff to reach US Open quarterfinals. Naomi Osaka produced a commanding performance to knock out the third-seeded Coco Gauff 6-3, 6-2 in a highly anticipated fourth-round showdown between two former US Open champions. After years of bitter disappointment at the year's final tennis major, Osaka showed flashes of her old brilliance on Monday as she took control of the match from the start, while 2023 champion Gauff struggled with her forehand and serve. List of 3 items. List 1 of 3. List 2 of 3. List 3 of 3. End of list. The result carried Osaka into the Flushing Meadows quarterfinals for the first time in 5 years. She will next play Czech 11th seed Karolina Muchova. The main thing I want to take away from this tournament is just smiling and having fun, said the 4-time Grand Slam champion Osaka, who triumphed in New York in 2018 and 2020, but failed to advance past the third round in her last 3 attempts. For me, honestly, I have the most fun when I play against the best players. Monday's showdown marked the first time that the two fan favorites met in New York since their memorable 2019 tussle when the then 15-year-old Gauff lost to Osaka. The fans, who had kept on chattering through the earlier match on Arthur Ashe Stadium, fell silent as the two began their battle, with Osaka breaking Gauff from the baseline in the first game in a superb first set. Gauff has spent many months trying to rebuild her serve, and was let down by it yet again as she produced a double fault on set point, 1 of 5 across the match. The mistakes began to pile up for the American, who handed Osaka another breakpoint with an unforced error in the 6th game of the second set, and vented her frustration towards her box during the final game, telling her coaches, "Nothing's working." The pair embraced briefly at the net after Gauff bowed out with a shot into the net on match point, and Osaka smiled in a subdued celebration. "I'm a little sensitive. I don't want to cry. I had so much fun out here," said Osaka. "A big thank you to my team. We've been through a lot. It hasn't been easy, but they have been by my side." Osaka's comeback built on belief. Every time Osaka has reached the last 8 of a major, she has gone on to hoist the trophy. She will be hoping to maintain that track record in New York. She won the last of her 4 Grand Slam titles at the 2021 Australian Open, before withdrawing from Roland Garros to protect her mental well-being after disclosing her personal struggles with depression. The Japanese player skipped Wimbledon and then left the US Open in tears later that year after an unexpected third-round defeat, announcing that she would take a break from playing. She also took a maternity break for the duration of the 2023 season, having failed to progress beyond the third round at her first 7 slams after her maternity break. She finally looked to have regained her mojo after reaching the Montreal final last month. Her partnership with new coach Tomasz Wiktorowski appears to be working, and Osaka said she never doubted she could get back to this stage in the majors. "You have to imagine it, and then you have to believe it for it to actually come true," she told reporters after showing off yet another bejeweled Labubu charm she had named Althea Glittersun, in honor of the late pioneer Gibson. And despite her struggles, Osaka said she never considered giving up the sport for good. "To hang up my racket for me permanently would be a very scary thing," she said. "It's like breathing air to me." Swiatek cruises into quarters. A laser-focused IGA Swiatek barely broke a sweat as the former US Open champion methodically dismantled Russian 13th seed Ekaterina Alexandrova 6-3, 6-1, and booked her return to the quarterfinals in New York. The 24-year-old's crushing win on Louis Armstrong Stadium meant that she became the youngest woman to reach at least the quarterfinals of all 4 Grand Slams in a single season since 18-year-old Maria Sharapova managed the feat in 2005. Swiatek was typing away furiously on her phone as she waited for her on-court interview afterwards, and said she was sending a message to her coach, Wim Fissette. "I asked him to book a practice court for 10 minutes, if possible," the world number 2 said, before she explained what worked well in helping her reach her 13th major quarterfinal. "I would say the intensity and focus. In the beginning, I felt like she played fast, and the court is different. I wanted to find my rhythm afterwards, and I was in my bubble. I forced the ball to go in. I'm happy with the quality." The Polish second seed next faces Amanda Anisimova in a repeat of the Wimbledon final, which Swiatek won 6-0, 6-0. The quiet storm, Naomi Osaka's triumph over Coco Gauff at the U.S. Open. The crowd at Arthur Ashe Stadium knew they were in for something special. Under the bright lights of New York, with the energy of 1,000 hopes bouncing off the hard court, two young titans of tennis met again, Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff. Both prodigies. Both powerful, but only one would move forward. And tonight it was Naomi. She didn't just win. She composed. With the grace of a pianist and the strength of a hurricane, Osaka dismantled Gauff's game piece by piece, emerging victorious in straight sets, 6-4, 7-5. The scoreline told a story of closeness, but those who watched, really watched, saw the deeper truth. Naomi Osaka had found her rhythm, and when she does, she becomes something more than an athlete. She becomes a force. The match beyond the match. From the first serve, there was tension in the air. Not animosity, never that. Naomi and Coco have shared too much mutual respect, too much history for that. But there was a different kind of pressure. The kind that comes when two young women shoulder the weight of expectations far larger than the game itself. Osaka, 27, had been through it all. Grand Slam wins, mental health revelations, media silence, public scrutiny, motherhood, and a recent return to form. Gauff, 21, still riding the wave of her meteoric rise and fresh off a string of impressive victories, was America's hope, a symbol of the sport's new generation. But tonight was Osaka's night. There was a moment, late in the first set, when Gauff had break point. The crowd leaned forward, their breath held. Osaka stood at the baseline motionless, eyes closed for a heartbeat. Then she served. Not her fastest, not her flashiest, but it hit the corner like it knew exactly where it needed to be. Ace. Break saved. She looked up. No fist pump. No celebration. Just a quiet nod to herself, as if to say, I'm still here. Two mirrors across the net. There's something poetic about the Osaka-Gauff dynamic. They are mirrors in motion, reflections of different paths. Same destination. Osaka, once the teen phenom who stunned Serena Williams and stood awkwardly as boos rained down on her first Grand Slam win. Gauff, once the 15-year-old who dethroned Venus and smiled like the world couldn't touch her. Tonight, they played not just for victory, but for legacy. Osaka's game was sharp, calculated, backhands like scalpel cuts, forehands that kissed the lines, and movements so smooth it seemed choreographed. Gauff fought with grit, her footwork tireless, her forehand heavy. But Osaka never gave her time. She dictated. She danced. When the second set tightened to 5-5, it felt like the tide might turn. Gauff had started reading Osaka's serve. Her returns were deeper, her grunts louder. The crowd rallied. Let's go, Coco! Chants echoing like a heartbeat. And then, just as quickly, Osaka broke. A double fault from Gauff. A quick cross-court winner. A final passing shot, so perfect it belonged in a museum. 6-4, 7-5. Match Osaka. 3, after the storm. After the final point, they met at the net. A handshake turned into an embrace. No drama, just a shared understanding. This was not an ending, only a chapter. Osaka raised her racket to the crowd. No leaping, no shouting, just a soft smile. A quiet storm, as always. In the post-match interview, when asked how she felt about defeating Gauff again under the lights of the U.S. Open, Naomi paused. She's incredible, she said, eyes scanning the crowd. I don't think people understand how hard it is to come out here, night after night, with everyone watching your every move, and she handles it with so much grace. I have so much respect for Coco. She's the future. And yet, tonight, the present still belonged to Naomi. For more than a game. For many, this wasn't just tennis. This was culture, identity, empowerment. Two young black women on the biggest stage in a sport that once refused to open its gates. Two voices unafraid to speak. Two hearts resilient against storms, whether from the media, the pressure, or their own battles within. Osaka has spoken openly about mental health, about racial justice, about motherhood. Her silence has been as powerful as her words. Gauff, younger but just as brave, has used her platform to call for change, her voice carrying from rallies to center court. And maybe that's what made tonight so important, because it reminded us that excellence can come in many forms, not just in crushing victories or viral moments, but in composure, in grace, in persistence. The road ahead. With the win, Osaka advances to the U.S. Open quarterfinals, her first slam quarter since returning from maternity leave. She'll face a familiar foe next, but tonight, that doesn't matter. Tonight was a reminder that form may fade, but class is permanent, that champions may stumble, but they rise, and that Naomi Osaka, with all her quiet strength and blistering talent, is still one of the most compelling athletes of our time. As for Gauff, she'll be back. She always is. She's too good not to be. The sport needs her just as much. The defeat will sting, but it will fuel her. That's the fire in her, the reason she's gotten this far, and the reason she'll go further still. 6. Epilogue, Shadows and Light. In the tunnels beneath Arthur Ashe, where the echoes of cheers still hum through concrete, Naomi Osaka walked with her team, headphones in, racket bag slung over her shoulder. But before she disappeared into the locker room, she turned back for a moment and looked out at the court, now empty, the crowd dispersing, the lights dimming. And she smiled. Not the smile of someone who had just won, but the smile of someone who had returned. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share.